Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Raeann, but you can call me Ray. Today's video is going to be on this pretty palette right here. So, this is a new Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. It's a collab with Amrezy. Why is my voice like squeaking? Did you guys hear that? So this is their newest collab palette. I feel like their most recent palettes have all been collabs, which is kind of cool. This palette, however, actually comes with more shades, I think, than they normally do. I think it comes with 16 shades. I think most of theirs, is it 14 that it usually comes with? We'll roll with that. I think that sounds accurate. So it does have 16 shades in here, and there are a few pressed glitters. I know a lot of people are kind of like, on the pressed glitters. I don't know if it says on here whether or not they're like eye safe or not. I would say that, I mean, glitters in general are kind of just like a use at your own like discretion. Is that the right word to say? But I think when I was swatching it at the store, the glitters seemed like fine enough that they're probably overall eye safe. Not like the ColourPop ones where they're like super chunky and they could like literally cut the crap out of your eye. Okay, anyways, this is what the actual packaging looks like. This is so beautiful. I'm just a sucker for anything like pink and like rose gold or anything like that. So it's super pretty, very like glittery outside, which I love. And then also the like gold, or I guess it's like, yeah, it's definitely more of a rose gold like font, which is super pretty. I'll get you guys a little bit closer. This is actually the first Anastasia palette I've bought in a while, other than the Norvina palettes, like the minis and then the bigger one that I bought, which was volume 3. So I'm actually really excited for this because, like I said, I haven't bought any of their palettes in a while. And then this is what the inside looks like. This looks gorgeous. And of course, always comes with a little mirror, which is super nice. And then they're like the dual-ended brush that they usually like include. I don't know if it's always the same. I think it might be. Maybe they have changed it up. I don't know. And then this is the inside of the palette. So super pretty. I love the like pink tones and then the more neutral shades, the more like brown like warm tones to it, your goldeny shades, and also that like pop of color that you get with the blue. Let's see if I can get it to kind of, there we go. You can kind of see the contrast and everything in the colors a little bit better now. So let's see. I think there is, it looks like just 2 pressed glitters. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm going to be doing like a couple looks in this video, so that'll be determined. I don't know how many I'm doing exactly just yet, but that'll be in the title and the thumbnail, obviously. I'm gonna do a couple looks, so I'm gonna keep this like swatching part as short as possible. So I don't think I'm really going to, I'm not going to be saying the shade names or anything, but just so you guys know, I am going to be starting with this shade, completing the row, and then starting back at this shade and completing the row. Yeah, so we'll just roll with that. Oh, okay. I totally forgot. This palette retails for $49. I actually got it for like $12. I had a little bit of a gift card left, and I also had a lot of Ulta points that I was basically hoarding for I don't know what reason. So yeah, it retails for $48, just in case you wanted to know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So that is one of the pressed glitters, and I did dip into that an extra time just to get it to build up a little bit better. Ooh, that one's really pretty too. This shade I'm so excited for. Like, look at that. I didn't dip back in, but I'm just kind of trying to get that to come out a little bit better, but so far these are looking so pretty. Alright, and then this one's going to be another pressed glitter. This is in the shade Gemini. Ooh, a little close to the other one. We're just going to roll with it. Ooh. These are swatching out really pretty. And again, oh my god, these are turning out so beautiful. And then basically the rest of the palette is going to be like your matte shades. Let's see if I can finish this off all on my arm. These mattes are feeling really buttery though. I swear the last couple times I've done swatches, I always get this really weird like squiggly one. Okay, so the last two mattes came out a little bit not that great, but I mean, overall I think everything is swatching out really, really nice. I'm not really going to spend too much time trying to build up the shades for the swatches. The last two shades are just a little bit patchy, but it doesn't bother me. We're just going to go from there. But yeah, these all look super, super pretty, so I'm so excited to work with this. I'm actually going to start one of my looks now, so I'll do a look and then I will come back and show you guys what I have so far. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I was looking all sorts of washed out. I kind of need to blend this out a little bit, but we're just going to start anyways. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's see. I don't think I even really showed you guys, but this is what we are working with so far. I might add a little bit more of the blue in later, but let's just go ahead and get started on the other eye. So everything is primed and ready to go. There is quite a lot of kick back, kick up, kick back, kick back, kick up. There's quite a lot of that stuff going on, so that's totally fine. I think a good majority of my palettes in general have that, so it's not really concerning to me. It doesn't bother me, but it is something good to like let you guys know. So we're gonna start into this shade right here, and we're basically just gonna build this up. I'm gonna start it and then we'll probably cut out a good chunk of it just because my eyes are going to be different than everybody else's and like my preferences and stuff. So I'm going to start it and then I will probably finish the rest of like building it up off camera. That way we could just save some time and not have to like fast forward through everything. So you'll just want to get in a good starting spot and then I'll kind of build everything up off camera. Go ahead and get into this. So I think everyone knows by now that I needed to use that blue shade. Like I had no choice. Like I had to use it. So I'm kind of not sure how many looks we'll be doing. Probably just 2. But we'll start with this one and then go from there. Okay, so basically just gonna start with this. Just gonna make it really, really deep and then start to blend it out. But we do want to pack on a lot of the pigment. And I am going to be doing a cut crease, so just really focusing the pigment in the areas where we want the look to be very dark and smoky, and then kind of feather it out towards the edges, and then we're going to use another shade to kind of blend everything out. So I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to do everything, well not everything, but I'm going to finish packing this color on off camera, and then I'll come back to kind of blend everything out. For me, this kind of takes the longest amount of time, so that's why I'm going to do some of it off camera. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into a different shade. Let me get the brush I want for that. Cleaning it off. Okay, so we are going to go into this New Yorker shade. So this shade right here. And then from there, we're also going to go into OG and kind of use both of them to blend everything out. I forget what one I used first. I think it was New Yorker and then OG, but I kind of like blended them together, if that makes sense. So mainly just using these shades to really blend out what we have. Now to kind of smooth out any like rough spots. Like, and that's already looking better. Okay, and then take a tiny bit of OG. Alright, so I'm almost to the point where I would want to cut my crease out, so I'm just going to go back into that first shade we started with, 1988, and just kind of pack on a little bit more just right in here. Okay, so from there I'm going to go ahead and cut out my crease and I will be back. Okay, so I kind of messed up a little bit, but I'll be able to fix it, so I'm not really worried about it. So let's go ahead and get started. I did use a glitter primer. I'm sorry, I was cheating a little bit, but I know their shimmers are usually pretty good, but since I'm gonna do multiple looks, I am just making things easy. We're going with a glitter primer. We don't have time to pack on color, okay? So I'm going to go into the golden shade Dragon. So I'm going to start with my finger and then we'll go in with a brush. So far that's really pigmented. Like I said, I did use a glitter primer, but to be honest, most of the time that's how I do shimmer shades anyways. I just always use a glitter primer. So from here, we'll just go and get as close to the edge of the concealer as possible, and then eventually I'll be going in with a different shade. I do need to go back in with my deep shade and kind of blend everything out and kind of deepen up the look a little bit. I did lose a little bit of that deepness, and then I also did get a little bit of the concealer further up my lid than I wanted to. It got on my lashes, so that's what happens sometimes, but you can always end up fixing it. So okay, so now I'm just extending it, and then we'll eventually go in with the more bronzy shimmer shade. Okay, so from here we're gonna go into the more bronzy shade. So this shade right here. So far that's looking pretty good. Okay, and then I will eventually go into my deeper shade, so 1988. I'm just gonna kind of go in to that concealer part, like closer to that edge of the concealer part, deepen everything up a little bit and probably blend out the edges. Before I do that, I just want to let you guys know that I am doing that. Before I do that, let's go ahead and just get into the rest of the look. So I'm going to take that New Yorker shade, and that's going to be my under eye shade, and we're just connecting that to the outer part where we were blending out. And just so you guys know, I do have a little bit of fallout on my face, but it's actually not that bad. I could probably just take a big fluffy brush and kind of dust it off. And that's not just from this shade. I think it's from actually probably that darker shade, and then definitely I did use a little bit of glitter on the other side. I haven't gotten to that point yet here, but I know some of it's also glitter. So kind of smoking it out a little bit. And then we'll also go into, if I can find the brush, we'll go back into that 1988 shade, get it closer to the lash line. And then also going into, I'll show you guys because we haven't actually used this shade yet. So we're going to go into this deeper brown. And then just using a really pointy like dome brush and just really getting that close to the lash line again, focusing it mainly on the outer part, and then kind of wipe it off a little bit, and then you can bring it in more. Okay, so that's what we have so far. We're gonna go ahead and I'll show you, I'm gonna show you the shade that I use for the inner corner, which if you guys could guess by now, it's definitely gonna be that really pretty blue shade, which is in, it's called Leo. So, of course I had to use that one, but I can't find the brush that I was using for that. story of my life. Okay, so I'm gonna just put that in my inner corner, and then, so I use Leo for the inner corner, so that blue shade. And then I also go into Wasted, so this one right here. I'm holding this so awkwardly. The Wasted shade is going to go underneath the brow bone, and then Leo's going to go in the inner corner. And then I'm just going to clean everything up a little bit. I'll probably, possibly, maybe, definitely put lashes on. And then I'll show you guys everything after that, and we'll probably move on to the other look. Okay, hi, it's me again. I totally forgot. So I actually did use a little bit of the glitter. So what I did is I just put a tiny bit of glitter primer on my finger. I used the NYX one, and I just kind of tap that into my shadow. And then from there, I just used a bigger like flat brush, and then I dipped into that Gemini pressed glitter, and then just kind of tap that in. The only thing that's kind of hard about the glitter primer is if it gets too chunked up, the product will just focus in that area that you put a lot of the primer in. So I'm kind of having that happen on this eye, but I'm not really sure if there's anything I can do about that, so we'll just try to even stuff out a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of chunked up in this area here, but I don't really think that it looks bad. It's just a nice little like shimmer, you know, like little sparkle. Not a ton of glitter, but I think it'll look really pretty. Blah, words. And it's kind of something nice, like especially when you see it in person, where it's just like a little bit of glitter, except this chunk right here. So okay, so this is the finished look. Okay, so I am just a sucker whenever it comes to like little pops of color, and I think I said this recently, I think in my elf video with, anyways, doesn't matter, but I just love the like golden look with just a little bit of like a pop, like literally like a pop of color, just like a cute, like, I don't know, just a little bright color in there, you know? Like, I just think this is so pretty. Yeah, I don't know. So far, this palette has been really easy to work with. Basically the same as any of my other like Anastasia palettes. The pressed glitters, like, okay, this worked fine. I'm not super wild about them because I have, like, if I want to use glitter, I have glitter on its own. I just really don't feel like they need to be in palettes, but I do feel like it would make that, like, it does make this look a little more unique, and like in person you could just see, like, you know, just the shimmer that it adds to it. So it is beautiful. It just, you know, that's just kind of how I feel about pressed glitters, but I do like using them. So I'm not really like necessarily opposed to having them in this palette. You know, I'm just like, I'm kind of indifferent. Like, I like using them. I'm kind of tired of seeing them in palettes, but this pressed glitter is a little more fine, so I feel comfortable using it around my eyes. I don't know if they recommend doing that. I didn't really end up seeing anything anywhere, but I'm using it and I'm comfortable with doing it. So anyways, this is the, I don't know why I did that. This is the first look. I actually wanted to do like a deeper red lipstick, but I decided not to. Anyways, this is it. We're gonna go ahead and get into another look. Okay, so, oh, I actually really like this. Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, so this look is a little more simple, but you know what? I'm okay with that. And I think you're probably okay with it too, right? Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into it. I already primed my lid with some concealer, and then I just wanted to use a little bit of glitter primer just to kind of help me with the shimmers a little bit. I'm sure you could do it without it, but I'm, like I said earlier, I'm not a patient person, so we're just going with it this way, okay? Anyways, so the first shade that we're going to go into, and I am going to be mainly finger applying these, but we're going to go into the more purpley shades, so this cupcake shade right there. And I'm just going to take my finger, just apply this. We'll bring it up past the crease just a little bit, and then we'll bring it to like a little bit past the middle of the lid, though we are probably going to kind of cover it with the second shade a little bit. Alright, so that's pretty pigmented right now. A little bit of the concealer like built up a little bit. I'm gonna hope that I can cover it with the shadows. I'm not really going to try to get it to come off right now just because sometimes it just makes things worse. But I'm going to go into that cupcake shade and we're just going to put it into the inner corner a little bit more. Just bring it in a little bit further. Okay, so from there we're going to go into the Anastasia shade. So this one right here. And we're going to kind of cover up whatever of that cupcake shade we had in the very beginning. Just kind of add it to it. I really wanted to use that Barb shade, but, well, I am using it in this look still, but it's not quite as pigmented as I was hoping. It's more of like an iridescent shade, but it is still really pretty. Okay, so that's pretty much it for Anastasia right now. Actually, let me take a little bit more of that and just kind of right there. Okay, so that's pretty good for now. We're gonna go ahead and go into the like more hot pink shade. So this one right here. I'm just blending that into the purple. So it's going to be our like outer lid shade too. And then I think I went a little ham with the pink, so I'm just going to go back into Cupcake and kind of blend those two into each other a little bit more so we still have the presence of Cupcake and it didn't get, there we go. Perfect. So that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna continue with the pink shade. And of course you can definitely do this with a brush, I'm just prefer not to. Okay, so from here I am going to take a brush and use that in with the pink shade a little bit more. I'm going to go back in with my finger a little bit. Okay, so from here we're going to go into this more purpley matte shade, so this one right here. We're just gonna blend that into the outer V and then also kind of bring that up into the existing shadows just right at the edge of it. And I think I want to use a different brush for this. I'm not really digging this one right now. So kind of just deepening this look up a little bit. This shade actually isn't as dark as I thought it would be. Not quite as pigmented. It's a little lighter on like the purpley like pink scale. I thought it was gonna be a little more of a like, not like a darker purple, but deeper than this actually is. Does that make sense? I mean, it's definitely not a bad shade, but I don't know, it just looks different in the pan than I thought it would be. From there, we're just gonna go into New Yorker. So the shade right here. Actually, did we go into that shade? I keep like this OG shade and New Yorker are just so similar to me that I can barely tell a difference. Like, but we're just making it very light anyways. So I'll just dip into a little bit of OG as well. Okay, so that's pretty good for right now. I'm just gonna go in and dip back into these shades just to kind of pack on more pigment. I do feel like it's getting a little lost in here. Okay, so from here I'm gonna go ahead and go into that Barb shade that I was talking about earlier. So this shade right here, and it's definitely more of like an iridescent shade, but it is really pretty. We're gonna put that in the inner corner, so on top of the Anastasia shade, just to add a little bit more kick. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of that under my brow bone, just a little bit. Okay, and then from there, basically, we're going to just mirror, mimic, whatever you want to call it, the shades that we have on the top of the lid. So like, we're going to go in with the Anastasia shade. We're going to go into that like hot pink like shimmer shade. And then also go into that matte like purpley shade too. So we're literally just going in with the same colors that we just went into, but just putting it underneath here. And so we'll start with Anastasia, go into Cupcake, go into Amrezy, and also into that matte purple shade. Okay, so that way we're like mirroring exactly what we just did. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna clean everything up. I'm gonna put on mascara. I'm not gonna put any lashes on, and then I will do probably some sort of eyeliner. I don't know, like in my waterline at least. I'm not sure exactly what color I want to use, if I just want to use pink or what I want to do for that. But I'm gonna finish up the look, kind of touch everything up, and that'll be pretty much it. So this is the finished look. Of course, just did mascara, not any lashes or anything like that, but overall I still think that this looks really pretty. I really like these like shimmers. Like, I just love the pink and purple like combo, so I'm a sucker for that, and I can't help it. But I mean, okay, so I'll show you guys. But yeah, that's pretty simple, but like this looks very like springtime to me, and I think it's cute. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I don't know, I'm weird. Anyway, like look at that. Like, I am really liking this look so far. Well, I mean, not so far because like it's done. But, and then if you guys were wondering, I did use this like periwinkle like eyeliner from ColourPop. I forget what one this is. It's in Prance. But I thought it would be kind of a nice like way to tie everything together without having everything be like overwhelmingly pink. I think it looks really pretty. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about this baby a little bit. So far I'm really liking it. I don't really have any complaints. I feel like the quality and the formula and everything is pretty much the same as all of their other Anastasia palettes. So that being said, I really like the formula. It's super easy to work with. The shimmers were really pretty. Of course, with most shimmers, I think they're better applied with your finger, but that's totally like a personal preference at that point. But all of the shades that I used were super pretty, very easy to work with, very easy to blend out. So I don't have any complaints. Like, if you have any Anastasia palettes, I would just think of the palette that you have, and the quality probably mirrors it. I know, other than maybe Subculture, because I know a lot of people didn't like that formula and it was different than the other ones. This is like if you have Soft Glam and Modern Renaissance, like I feel like the formula is basically the same. But yeah, so I feel like everything was super easy to work with. I really like the color story of this. Is it something that I probably don't already have? Not necessarily. I did see a video that said like if you have Riviera and Soft Glam and Modern Renaissance and Norvina, you probably wouldn't need this palette necessarily. But if you don't have all of those and you like this color story, then I would go for it. Like, you know, it has all of those colors, or all of these colors all in one palette rather than having to pick and choose from different palettes. But if you did have all of those palettes, then you probably could stay away from this. The one thing that's different about this one versus the other ones is that it does have pressed glitter. That doesn't bother me, and I know some people, they just really don't like pressed glitter. These ones I feel like are so fine that you could use them on your eye if you wanted to. So with that being said, I mean, unless there's anywhere on the packaging that says that you shouldn't use them in your immediate eye area, which I don't think there was, then since you can use them around your like eye area, then I think they're fun. I do like using glitter from time to time. I know some people completely don't want to be near glitter, so if you're one of those people, you know, either you could get this palette or not get it. Like, not get it because of the pressed glitters, or just get it because there's only 2 in here. And when you compare it to, and I know my Soft Glam palette is so dirty, but when you compare the sizes, like this one has 14 shades and this one has 16 shades. If you take out the pressed glitters, it's the same amount of shadows as the other palettes. I think that's actually pretty cool that they did that, where The pressed glitters are, you know, in addition to what their normal size palette would be. So if you don't want to use those pressed glitters, you would still get a regular full-sized palette. It's not like you have a 14 pan palette and 2 of them are glitters, so you can only use 12 of them if you're not interested in the glitters. Like I said, I'm kind of indifferent because I don't necessarily need them in this palette. I feel like this palette would be good without them, but I am not like bothered by the fact that they did include them, and I think that it's nice that they're 2 extra shades at that point. I mean, I have plenty of like loose glitters that I use that I really don't need the pressed glitters in a palette, but you know, it's a cool little addition if you like glitter. If you don't, you just wouldn't use them at that point. But overall, I'm really enjoying this palette. I just think the color story is so pretty, and I am just a sucker for those like combinations of pinks and blues, and then you can do your like more goldeny shades and just, you know. So far I'm really excited to keep using this palette. I have so many looks that I'm just thinking of doing that I'm like, I just want to keep going, you know? Like, I feel really inspired by it, which is nice, you know? It's always nice to be inspired by new makeup, and yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. Awkward face, I don't know. But if you guys liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.